Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Emerald with a team picked by a random number generator was a really weird team run. Let's follow that up with an even weirder one. Today's the day we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Red with a team with only weak moves. Alright, the rules for this one, pretty simple, pretty restrictive. If any move has more than 40 power, we just can't use it. We can use any move we want as long as it has 40 power or below, obviously including moves with no power. That means if we're gonna hit hard, we have to find ways to buff ourselves, debuff the opponents, or just to get lucky with multi-hit moves. Our move choice is always really limited in Gen 1, but even more so now. It's worth pointing out that this moveset on screen is showing Gen 1 moves, but it's also showing their modern day stats, so there's things on here that are missing that should be on there, like Tackle, so this list you're seeing isn't perfect. I'm gonna have to double check stuff myself on Bulbapedia to make sure that I don't make a mistake. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through the challenge, so this part is being written before it started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I know that I can win, but I'm really curious to see how hard it's gonna be. In a game where most of the trainers have terrible moves, will us using super weak ones even matter? Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use moves with 40 or less power. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. No need for the randomizer this time, I just went ahead and grabbed Bulbasaur. I figure he's the most useful starter in a run like this. Vine Whip and Tackle are both only 35 power in this game, so we can use them, and moves like Sleep Powder and Leech Seed could absolutely get us some wins when we otherwise wouldn't be winning. This is our only Pokemon I'm planning on getting for the first couple of gyms, and I think it's gonna go pretty well. Alright, so this early bit should be really easy. Bulbasaur doesn't learn an attacking move over 40 power until level 30 with Razor Leaf, so until then it's basically a normal run. Again, Vine Whip is only 35 power in this game, so it should be a really easy solution to the Rock Gym. I'm just gonna rush there and get the win. So I get to the Rock Gym and just one-shot sweep my way through, as expected. I mean, we couldn't have lost, right? I guess I hypothetically could have missed with the 256 glitch every single turn until we fainted. But I think the time that would take to happen dwarfs all of human existence, so, my odds in that fight were pretty good. Alright, with that done, we're on our way to the Water Gym, obviously. It should be easy, although I don't really know how the rival fight right after is gonna go. It might be easy, might be hard. I figure it mostly matters what powder moves we have by the time we get there, and if Pidgeotto uses Sand Attack. I plan on getting a new Pokemon shortly after that fight, though, so I'm looking forward to it. On our way there, I took the Helix Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. YouTube algorithm, which has been slightly friendly to me lately. Oh, isn't that nice to see? I'm used to just losing viewers year after year. That's like the natural cycle of a channel like mine, so it's always a little bit cool when I see that some random thing gets picked up in the algorithm a little bit. I appreciate that, YouTube, and I appreciate that more viewers, because you guys hyping it and commenting and hitting the like button and watching these are why that happens. Anyway, by the time I got to the Water Gym, we had evolved into Ivysaur, so it was a pretty easy time. I hate that Vine Whip is such a weak move and only has 10 power points, by the way. How weird is that? What made them think 10 power points on this move? After that is our rival, and I was worried about Pidgeotto's Sand Attack, but would you look at what happened on the first try? We got hit by Gust a bit, but it was normal in this game, so it didn't really hurt all that much, and Sand Attack missed both times, so we took it out. Abra's second, so I hit Leech Seed to get a little bit of health back. That kept us pretty healthy going into the Rattata fight, so it couldn't get our health down that much either. As Charmander came out, my plan was to Leech Seed it and Poison Powder it. It dropped our stats a little bit as we took a while to set up, and we even got hit by Ember, but thankfully we didn't get burned and we took it out. Right after that is the SSN rival fight, but this one goes differently. I tried a few times, but I can't keep him from getting us with Sand Attack near the start, and that just makes us deal so much less damage over the course of the fight. Even with him not hurting us all that much and Kadabra spamming Teleport, we still lost badly as soon as Charmeleon came out at the end. I think I'll just clear out all the trainers in the SSN and then come back. So I go get a few levels to hit 32 so that we evolve, and all of a sudden things are going way better because we can take out Pidgeotto pretty quickly, and he never gets to Sand Attack us. We still take a lot of damage against Charmeleon, but at least it was a pretty clean win. Now's the time we've all been waiting for. I rush through Rock Tunnel because it's time for 2 new Pokemon. First I get Growlithe. This is going to be our fire type, and it's a pretty good one. We can't use bite because that's too strong, but we can use ember. That's actually the only move we're ever going to be allowed to do with this Growlithe, mind you. I don't have any TMs worth teaching him that are weaker, so it's just Ember, and I guess Leer and Agility if I really wanted to. I figure I won't be using it all that much, but hey, we can evolve it into Arcanine early for a strong Pokemon. Then I go ahead and fight my way through the dojo to get Hitmonlee. Once again, we don't have many moves here, but Double Kick and Meditate is all we need. I get the feeling that that combo is going to be great for sweeping through particularly physically frail Pokemon. Now we have the Electric Gym, Giovanni, the Grass Gym, and our rival. I figure most of these won't be too bad, so let's just go plow through them. Alright, first is the Electric Gym. I wanted to gain some levels on Growlithe, but he pretty quickly fainted, so I just had Hitmonlee use Meditate, then kicked his way through the fight easily. After that is Giovanni, but because his team is so ground and rock heavy, I didn't even bother walking in with a healthy team. I just took out his whole team with Venusaur pretty easily. For the Grass Gym, I made sure to use a Firestone and evolve Growlithe. Then it wasn't so bad. We took a lot of damage over the course of the fight between getting poisoned and the wrap at the start getting me stuck for a while, but it really wasn't that bad, and I could have just finished this fight with Venusaur if I had to. That gets us the TM for Mega Drain, so I'm going to learn that right away. It's just a straight upgrade from Vine Whip in this game, and it's still 40 power, so it's at our power limit. After that is our rival fight, and I decided to start off with Arcanine against Pidgeotto. It went incredibly smoothly just because our stats are so amazing. We took it out without too much damage. Second is Execute, so of course I keep Arcanine in, but between Sleep and Barrage, it took a full minute just to hit 2 Embers and knock it out. This Execute took more of our health out than Pidgeot did. Third is Water Onix, so I just Leech Seed it and spam Mega Drain. His Dragon Rage hits pretty hard, but we heal up quite a bit so it's fine. Second from last is Kadabra, and although he wastes time with Teleport, he still almost took out Arcanine thanks to a critical confusion. He's frail though, so he didn't last all that long. Last is Charmeleon, but Hitmonlee crits a double kick right away for an easy one-shot. Okay, with that done, we can catch our next Pokemon, Doduo. I think this is going to be pretty great. Not only does it have Peck for a flying move, but it has Fury Attack and a high base speed. See, in Gen 1, crits are based on your base speed, and also multi-hit moves can be really powerful in Gen 1, because as soon as any hit of the multi-hit move crits, the rest of that multi-hit move will just continue to crit. We could end up being a multi-hit crit machine, and that'd be a great way to deal a lot of damage with a weak move. Now we have one gym between us and our last 2 Pokemon. Let's go beat that Poison Gym. So I figured the Poison Gym was gonna be a hard one, and I was right. After clearing out tons of trainers in the area to help get us caught up in levels a little bit, we go in with Doduo at level 30, but it's still a lot lower than them and it doesn't last long. We ended up having to use Arcanine to take out the first coughing, getting poisoned and losing a bit of health in the process. Second is Muck, and I figured that I just wouldn't get past him. I was lucky and he didn't use Minimize too much, and thanks to a burn, we were able to do some damage over time. But we still lost Arcanine, and Hitmonlee took half his health and damage, and got poisoned, so it's not a good situation as he fainted. As the second coughing came out, I just did what little damage I could before fainting, then I finally had Venusaur come in. We pretty easily took out coughing just because he couldn't hurt us much. Last is Wheezing, and I thought I was gonna lose because he was just gonna use X-Attack and Self-Destruct, but for some reason, as we took the time to seed him and spam Mega Drain, he just wasn't blowing up like he usually does. That's when I realized this terrible Gen 1 AI has him spamming poison moves because he thinks it's super effective against us since we're Grass type. He's not taking into account that we're also Poison type, so Smog and Toxic aren't gonna do him any good. Thanks to that, he threw the fight, we got past him at a way lower level than we should have, and we can go get our last 2 Pokemon. First, I go to Cinnabar Island to revive our Helix fossil into Omanite. It's only gonna have Water Gun and eventually Spike Cannon to attack with, but that's alright. Omastar is gonna be a really strong Pokemon, so I figure that I'll be able to pull through despite the weak moves, much like Arcanine. A fun fact about this one that we got, I plugged in its stats in an IV calculator. It's got between 0 and 1 for attack, but a 15 for special. 15 is the max for an IV in Gen 1, so we can expect a very weak Spike Cannon, but a shockingly awesome Water Gun. Hey, it's time for our last Pokemon. I went ahead and caught a Magnemite. My logic is pretty simple. Electric moves are great, Magneton has some of the highest special in the game, and Thunder Shock is one of the best weak moves in the game. Plus, who knows, maybe something like Sonic Boom could actually be handy in some niche matchup. Let's go try the Omanite we just got in the Fire Gem. That double type resistance should make it pretty easy. Alright, this wasn't quite as easy as I thought. First is Growlithe, who used agility a bit and fainted before doing anything that mattered. Ponyta is second, but same situation, it never really hurt us. Rapidash only used one stomp before fainting, so everything was going really smoothly when Arcanine came out. Right away though, he used Takedown for really solid damage. We got some good hits in, but fainted fast and had to switch to Venusaur to try and Leech Seed him. He used a Super Potion, so we got our opening, but his Fire Blast right after brought us from full health to almost none, so naturally we fainted soon after. I sent in Magnemite to just chip away at him with Sonic Boom, and thankfully, he got some hits in thanks to him using Roar, a move that does nothing in trainer battles in this game. He also kept healing with Super Potions though, so I had to send in Doduo to get a few more hits in before he fainted. Then I sent in my own Arcanine last to spam Ember. Even on a crit we did almost no damage, but between his takedown recoil damage and the Leech Seed damage, he just hardly went down when our last Pokemon had only 24 health left. Right after that is the Silph Co rival fight. Pidgeot goes down pretty easily in 3 hits from Thundershock, but we lose half of our health in the process. Execute goes down easily in a couple of Embers, and as Water Onix came out, we sent in Magneton. All he did was miss Leer, so we hit Thundershock, but then he used Hydro Pump. I probably should have fainted, but thanks to the high combined special of Magneton, we survived with a sliver and got the knockout. Next is Alakazam, so I sent in Dodrio. Now, he easily could have made us faint since his Psybeam does crazy damage, but he wastes a ton of time with stuff like Recover and Disable. Although we did eventually faint in the end, and had to give him a free shot on Arcanine, we knocked him out. Last is Charizard, so I sent in Omanite and pretty easily finished him off by spamming Water Gun. After that is Giovanni, but we had a pretty hard counter for nearly his entire team at this point, so he didn't stand a chance. Too easy. Man, I knew this one might be rough. We have the Psychic Gym, and normally in solo runs, this is a pretty easy gym. But because it's a team run, and we're a way lower level than them, we can't just take advantage of how physically frail they are. Not only that, but most of their moves are special, not physical, so we really don't hit all that hard. Now, if Arcanine had a physical move, then this would be easy, but Bite is 60 power, so we can't use that. Anything we could teach him would be too strong, and we really suck with Ember. I threw my whole team at them to slowly chip them away. I really didn't think we'd get to Alakazam, but even when we did, we pretty much instantly went down. I can't believe it, is this the first time I've had to go grind just to prep for the Psychic Gym? I think I'm mostly going to invest in Dodrio for this. We need a fast, strong, physical attacker for a fight like this. So I brought the minimum level of the team up to 35 and got a few more levels on Dodrio, then things go so much better. The first 2 Pokemon are really easy to take out with Fury Attack now. The Venomoth is easy because Arcanine hasn't fainted yet, and Alakazam at the end doesn't fight smart enough to survive Dodrio after we paralyzed him with Magnemite. And naturally, the Ground Gym was incredibly easy. It's always an easy gym, but we have Omastar and Venusaur, so we really couldn't have lost. I'm worried about the upcoming rival fight though. If we win or not is probably all up to Alakazam. Alright, rival time. Obviously it's Magneton first against Pidgeot, and he just spent most of his time using agility for some reason, so we took him out just fine. Rhyhorn is a one-shot with Water Gun, and Execute is easy to take out with just a few hits of Ember. Water Onix is a one-shot with Thunder Shock, and next is the real threat, Alakazam. I started with Magneton because I really wanted to paralyze him, and although we took a lot of damage right away, we successfully paralyzed him and actually landed quite a few hits before we fainted. I knew I could throw most of my team at him if I really wanted to, so I sent in Arcanine just to try and get his health lower with Embers to hopefully finish him off with Dodrio. When he had only a sliver left, we fainted, so I had Dodrio finish him off with Peck. Last is Charizard, but it pretty much can't do anything with Omastar. The fact that he locked himself into Rage just made it even worse for him. That was a really good first try win. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our team. Well, the moveset is awful, but that was inevitable. I actually went into the store and picked up 5 TMs of Reflect and taught it to everyone but Hitmonlee, since almost everyone can learn Reflect in this game for some reason. Now, in Gen 1, it's just a huge defense boost that lasts until you faint or switch Pokemon, so it's really strong, works pretty differently than Gen 2 onward. Hitmonlee couldn't learn it, so I gave him Substitute instead. I figure maybe the combo of Substitute and Meditate could sweep through some tough Pokemon, but, you know, he had empty move slots anyway. We just needed to fill it out with something easy. Now our team has fallen way behind on levels, so I should probably catch them up a bit. I'm gonna make 40 the new minimum. It's still probably way too low to win the run, but we could at least beat Lorelei. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Ice Trainer Lorelei. This was actually really simple. The AI in this game is terrible, I'm sure you've noticed. Dugong uses rest every turn because he thinks it's super effective, and I take the chance to have Hitmonlee use Substitute, and then meditate 6 times. Thanks to that, I could pretty easily sweep much of Lorelei's team. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to faint and go back to the start, because I have to go to the store. I forgot to buy healing items for between the fights. That does happen sometimes. I forgot to stock up on full restores and revives before going into the Elite Four, and I need that for between the Elite Four fights. Second is Fighting Trainer Bruno. Super easy though. The Onyx at the start could hardly do anything, so once again, Substitute, spam Meditate, kick my way through the fight. Can't do that in the Agatha fight though, so I think it's gonna be the first one where we have to level up before we can beat it. Who knows though, her behavior in that battle is maybe the most random in the entire game. So she might just throw the fight by switching Pokemon too often. Third is Ghost Trainer Agatha. This is a funny fight because it's both a very lucky fight for us, but also a complete disaster. Well, I say it's really lucky because she did a lot of really weird moves that didn't help her at all and gave us a lot of chances to land hits. But I guess when she does that like 50% of the time anyway, can I really call it that lucky? Anyway, I'm sure you see the issue on screen. Only 5 of our Pokemon can hit these ghosts, and none of them can do very much damage. They aren't hitting us very often in return, but Hypnosis, Confuse Ray, and Nightshade can all be real problems. Even against Dodrio, because in Gen 1, Nightshade works on normal types. Look, best case scenario is they sometimes spam Dream Eater while we're awake. It's amazing. But that doesn't happen enough to get a win. On our best attempt, we only got to Haunter, so we weren't anywhere close to winning when we finally lost all of our Pokemon that could fight back. We're way too low of a level to deal with the super high special stat of Gengar with such weak moves. I'm gonna go level up. So I got the team to level 45 and try some more. The problem is still just how insanely tanky the Gengars are, but we're doing a lot better for sure. We can get to the point where all she has left is Haunter and her last Gengar, but we still just faint because eventually they use Nightshade one too many times. The constant Confuse Rays didn't help either, and we just can't get Leech Seed to stick because she keeps switching Pokemon. That removes the Leech Seed. The best thing I can do is hope that I can keep Magneton alive for long enough so that I can paralyze as much of her team as possible. The level difference is so huge though that even after paralyzing Gengar, it's faster than our Magneton. We're for sure under-leveled to be winning this with such weak moves. So I got the team up to level 50 and kept trying, but we made a pretty big breakthrough. Dodrio is finally able to do a bit of damage with Peck, and it helps a lot with the early ghosts. We also ended up having a pretty pain-free time taking out Arbok and Golbat this time, so we had most of our team in good shape when we got to the final Gengar and Haunter. There was a lot of switching back and forth, but once we got most of our team paralyzed, I just played it very slow and safe. Once there was only one Gengar left, I Leech Seeded and Mega Drained and just waited for it to very slowly faint. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Lance. This one was easy though. Magneton had an easy time taking out Water Onix at the start, and most of Lance's team just bugs out if you have a poison type, so I sent in Venusaur. They spammed Agility forever, so I just used Reflect and 6 Growths, then used Mega Drain and Leech Seed to take out his whole team. We ran out of power points doing it, but it worked great. It's fine. I know where the max elixirs are. I can get power points back really easily in Gen 1. Finally, the Pokemon Champion. Right away, Pidgeot is 11 levels higher than us, but thanks to Wing Attack being basically useless in Gen 1, he did almost no damage to us before we quickly made him faint. Alakazam is second, and I sent in Dodrio, but we instantly got hit by Psychic and nearly fainted. We hit Fury Attack for really solid damage, he used Reflect, we hit Fury Attack again, and he actually fainted because we got a 5-hit Fury Attack. It was great. Right on is next, so we just have Venusaur hit Mega Drain for a one-shot, and next is Exeggutor. Arcanine didn't have all that hard of a time doing damage to him, but it's Blue's Exeggutor, so of course it took forever thanks to Hypnosis and Barrage. In fact, he had a literal sliver of health left when he finished us off, and we had to finish him off with Dodrio, so we got pretty unlucky with Arcanine in that fight. Second from last is Water Onix, so naturally we just have Magneton use a couple of Thunder Shocks for the knockout. Thanks to a crit, it was nearly a one-shot. Last is Charizard, so I had Magneton stay in to paralyze him first. Then as we fainted, I sent an Omastar to finish him off with Water Gun as he threw the fight with Rage. We may have weak moves, but we got a solid win at a much lower level than they are. It was a really fun run. I know that is Gen 1, so the move choice is a little bit boring, but I think it helped us quite a bit that the enemy trainers tend to have pretty bad movesets in this game. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge should be up next week on Saturday, I think, with Pokemon Omega Ruby with only one Shedinja. Yeah, that's my first Omega Ruby run. Actually, I'm already recording it right now, and it's taking so long to record that it wouldn't shock me if it takes me 2 weeks to finish. So you guys might be getting some kind of goofy spin-off filler episode next week to buy me some time to finish the rest of the Shedinja video. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comment section, on the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro. I don't have a whole lot of free time. Not only am I crazy busy this week, but I've already started on that Shedinja run. I'm already fairly deep into it. I ran into a brick wall that I thought was literally going to end the run. And like, I was nowhere close to getting near the end of the run anyway. It probably already would have taken 2 weeks, but then I hit a brick wall and I thought the run was over, and like I tried a bunch of things and none of them worked. And I was thinking, oh man, all right, well, I guess it ends here. I guess that's fine. That means the workload is back down to a normal workload. I can get working on other things. I spent a day working on those other things, and then I got a tweet, and the tweet said, hey, did you try this thing? And I was like, no, actually. I looked at like every move, and just for some reason, that move didn't come into my mind as a solution. Even though I looked at the move list, I checked the move, and I thought, oh, you know what? That might actually solve the problem. And so I opened the game back up, and I learned the move, and I go into the fight, and what do you know? That fixed the fight. So one tweet may have just saved that video from being like half done forever. So that tweet's definitely making it into the video. Absolute hero tweet. They're gonna get a shout out in that video for saving me there. But that also means that the video is probably not gonna come out next week. It might still. It might. Keep an eye on my Twitter and everything. It might still come out next week, but it's more likely gonna come out the week after. I'll come up with some kind of like fun filler thing in the meantime. I have like a few ideas bouncing around in my head. We'll see what I think of. Anyway, I gotta go get working on that stuff. So the $50 supporter shoutout tier over on Patreon and YouTube. Thank you everybody so much for your continued support. Jacob Busby, Javid Khosrow, Grayson Fitz, Tara Luis, Dark Soul, Young Smoky VP, Gabriel Thornton, Hernandez Punchdick. Hey, Crystal Sunrise is back on the list. The -1, and Manspider. Thank you everybody so much. I really appreciate it. It's thanks to you guys that I can hopefully afford the fact that this run is gonna take 2 weeks. Is it gonna blow up really big like that Shedinja run I did a few months ago where it did so well that it was worth multiple Pokemon Challenge videos? No, probably not. It probably won't. Just realistically speaking. But if it did, that would be really cool. I'm gonna go get working on that because I got a ton of work to do. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.